you think that defeating Cori Bush the second time now that St. Louis Democrats are rejecting the ideas and maybe the ideology of the more progressive wing of the party?
You're still on the national headlines, and you know there'll be others above my pay grade that'll figure that out. I'm sorry if I'm hitting people's microphones. What we were focused on were the issues that mattered to people right here in St. Louis. Now, there will be political pundits that will break it down and look at other issues. But for us, it was about the people in this room bringing jobs, opportunity, and resources to this region. That's what we were laser focused on, and that's why we had such a resounding victory.
Congressman, how about that march for victory tonight? What does that say about the job you and your team have done in Washington?
I'm from here. I'm from St. Louis. I was raised here. I was educated here, and so these are my people. No pun intended over there. And so, for me, it's about having an honor of being able to represent my home in Congress. And so, when you get a victory like this, it is truly humbling. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the people that knocked on doors, sent emails, supported our campaign, and we're going to get back to work because there's more work to do.
There's been a lot of criticism about AIPAC money, and the Jewish community has been brought into this race, and some allegations that the other side has been anti-Semitic. You mentioned you want to represent everybody from St. Louis. Do you mind addressing those two things, both the funding for your campaign, and then also that you want to represent the Jewish community as well?
I want to represent every community in this region. Diversity is our superpower, and we've had relationships for years with our Asian community, with our Jewish community, with our Bosnian community, everyone, because everyone deserves to have a voice in not only this region, but in the progress of this region. And so whether folks disagree or agree on a particular issue, they know that I'll show up, they know that I'm going to listen to them, and we're going to try to figure out ways to find common ground so that we can make this a St. Louis that works for everyone.
Is AIPAC a problem? Is anti-Semitism also a
that
problem?
national trend you talked about kind of happening in the coast, you called it a lot of noise. You did decisively counteract what a number of other left-wing candidates have been able to beat incumbents. What did you do that they could not do?
I think it's a matter of folk, I was a Ferguson City Council. I was a county prosecutor. And at every stop, we focused on getting things done for the folks in this region. That was our goal. There was no secret sauce. There was no shortcut or workaround. It was about getting things done for the people in the St. Louis region. It was about being practical, and there's times we're going to disagree. There's going to be tough issues. As a matter of fact, all of the easy issues have already been solved. We're only left with the tough ones. And so that means we're going to sometimes have to have tough conversations and try to work through things together, but not by turning on each other. We got to turn into one another, work together, and move this region forward. And I'm so proud of this victory because of what it represents. It represents that we can bring people together. Look at the crowd here. It's a diverse crowd. We can bring people together and get things done for this region.
What do you want?
What do you plan to promise to do for Missourians the second you head back? What can you promise them if they voted you in for another 2 years?
We're going to continue to do everything we can to bring people together. There's enough division in our politics. It's long past that we started focusing on a vision for this region. And I see a region that has a huge healthcare footprint, a huge defense footprint, startup footprint, transportation and agricultural transportation footprint. But we have to be able to invest in the infrastructure so that we can attract working class families back here. There's no secret sauce. We've seen other regions do it. We just got to come together, start thinking regionally, and get it done.
What can the people of St. Louis expect out of your next congressional run? What can the people of St. Louis expect out of your next congressional run?
I think what people can expect from me is someone that's going to wake up every day thinking about St. Louis and working for the people in this region. Every single day. And that means we recognize that there are tough issues that we've had to address. And when Ferguson happened, when we had issues in the circuit attorney's office, you didn't ever have to look for me. And sometimes it would have been easier to step away. And people said, well, you're muddying yourself up by getting involved. But when there are problems that have involved this region, we need people that are going to step up.
And should the Secretary of State be impeached over his decision on the map?
I haven't had a chance to really break down everything that came out of what he said, but from what I know, I'm very not only disappointed, but deeply disgusted by what we all knew was coming. We talked about this amongst our staff and even publicly, that there was a good chance that the Secretary of State would likely not find these 316,000 signatures that he wouldn't certify them. And when we only needed 117,000. And the problem that I have is that you can play politics over maybe the name of a park. But when we're talking about voters and their right to have a voice in their government, that's something that we hold as hallowed in this country. And so I want to see more of what his decision was, and we know that it's going to go through the courts, and we're going to prevail. But what we have to make sure that we're always never forgetting is that the power is in the people of Missouri, not any particular office holder. And I think the Secretary of State would be wise to remember that.